Hello, potential future listener. This is Mask Master, the author of Kingdom of the Blind, Squad Halcyon. I will not be using my real name for this. And I wanted to make this little prelude for two reasons. One, to explain the origin of this, the genesis of this novel, and also talk about why I decided to do this, because I figured that context might be a little bit important. So this is a novelization of a Dark Heresy campaign, and that, for those unfamiliar, is a Warhammer 40k role-playing game in which you play as the Inquisition. And I was introduced to it by a friend who is mentioned in the thanks at the beginning of the novel. It's Alessandro, and I absolutely loved it because the diversity of characters that you could put into this thing was just awesome. It's the Inquisition; they can recruit from anybody. And so you got a lot of really diverse casts that resulted in some very interesting interactions in ways that I imagine you wouldn't get as easily in, say, Only War. And then the genesis of this particular novel, going from being a Dark Heresy campaign to an actual novel, putting aside the personal gripes of me being dissatisfied with my Dark Heresy game and me wanting something to do at work that didn't require me to pull my phone out, uh, I saw a lot of really cool character concepts in my Dark Heresy games that, for whatever reason, were not fully realized. Maybe the player just didn't have time, or they were too exhausted, or something like that. So I took a lot of those that I felt like I could add my own spin on and have it mean something. Because the characters where the players were just totally awesome and they did everything that they could with their characters, those aren't going to be very interesting in comparison when I take the reins on them. Because, well, what could I add? But these are the ones that the players weren't able to use for whatever reason, and so that's how we got the cast of Squad Halcyon. And I suppose the grander narrative contributions I wanted to make to Warhammer lore came from, well, just kind of the sorry state of things under recent GW decisions. Nothing feels like it has weight. Very few of the characters feel particularly relatable or developed. And I kind of wanted to elevate that because I think a franchise as storied and I don't know what the other word I'm looking for is, but a franchise as storied as Warhammer, that's existed for as long as Warhammer has, deserves to have some really cool and really identifiable and relatable in some ways characters. I am a big Caiaphas Cain fan, and I think that, that kind of icon of the lore, because he doesn't have a model yet, is really important to keeping people involved, and especially getting new people involved. And that gets into another part of this is I wanted some representation. I am not going to make it any secret. I am pretty far left, and I'm disappointed by the fact that Warhammer panders mostly to white guys. I mean, I'm a white guy myself, so I'm being pandered to. But I don't see a lot of representation for people of other races. I don't see a lot of representation for women outside of like the Sisters of Battle and occasionally some of those like specific subfactions. I don't see any representation for queer people. There's just never been a major Warhammer character that was queer, and I thought that that plus introducing some really some like deep reflections on how the institutions in the Imperium would affect the people who live under them. I think that puts Warhammer lore in a better place and kind of helps us shrug off the image of being pop sci-fi schlock that's meant for white guys. And in that same vein of GW not handling things very well, I wanted the Imperium to be evil again because they've not really done that recently. And I wanted to make a believable conflict on a small scale. Because a lot of what GW has been doing since the 13th Black Crusade ended with the destruction of Cadia is like, oh, everything is some galaxy-spanning threat, Fashtor, or the Tyranids, or whatever. And it kind of gets to the point that, like, it's difficult to feel invested in anything, because you know how this is going to end. It's going to end with the Imperium winning, because they still got models to sell. But for a single planet, and they used to do this with like the Taros campaign and Armageddon, and I'm kind of echoing those here. With a single planet, the outcome is not predetermined. It doesn't matter if a single planet disappears. I mean, yes, obviously it will matter because like billions of people will die, but in the grand scheme of the Imperium, it won't matter. The setting will continue if a single planet is destroyed or a single planet rebels or a single planet goes to the Tau. And I want to bring that back in this novel because I think that those are the most interesting presentations of imperial politics. And I think it's the easiest to get invested in those. And I suppose with the few people I've previewed this novel to who actually read it, because this will be a little audio series, I ended up accidentally achieving a great introduction to Warhammer 40k, which I'm happy about because I think that what I'm trying to do, ending up being a good introduction, I think will put a positive spin on Warhammer and get a lot more people interested that wouldn't be interested before. Now, I've done all of this in about 2 takes, and I don't intend to try to clean this up at all, because this isn't the important part. But I suppose I'll just say thank you very much for listening to these little things that I've put together. Or thank you for reading Squad Halcyon, and I hope you enjoy hearing it as much as I enjoyed writing it.